today I'll show you the Mont Moondance one-person tent, and it's a banger. This is a brilliant one-person tent that has a heap of room and it's built like a brick shit house. You can put this thing anywhere. I'm not going to tell you this is the best tent because I'm not you. We all have different priorities when it comes to price, weight, function, when it comes to buying tents. I'm going to step you through all the things I love about this tent and some of the things that might annoy you if you were to get this tent. Let's do it. Chuck one more in its rear. Cool. The pole assemblies, it all just clicks together really nicely. The cheaper tents struggle to get the pole hubs in and pull them back out again. Well, the thing I love about this tent is you can pitch the poles either way, so you're not fuffing around being, which way does it go? Does it go that way? Does it go this way? A lot of these tents are making it easier with color-coded ends to put it in, but I just love that you can just put it in this way or that way, piece of cake. Give you a look at these up close. Just such a bloody easy tent to pitch. The only thing I've heard some people complain about is that this is separate, but hey, if you're going to leave that behind, you've got a few issues. Nice little D-door. I'll give you a look around. It's a great little tent. This is the only one-person tent I'll be reviewing because, in my opinion, all the other one-person tents are just too small. I like to have the gear in there with me. This is so inside you can open up the vents. When it's bucketing down, you can close them off while sitting in the tent. You don't have to get out and get wet. Above the tent door here, it's got a nice little clip-out point that you clip onto this pole hub. Click. So it's also got various Velcro points that you can tie down in high winds, but I'm not going to bother with those today. I'm just going to clip it straight on. Nice and easy. Clip and pull. Clip. Twink. Sweet as. All the other tents I've reviewed today in this wind have just been flapping about, you know, crazy, but this thing is rock solid. And that's what I love about it. Yeah, it weighs a bit more, but it's bloody amazing. Cool. You can tension the peg spot so you can pull the tent out. You've got the nice little clip where your rainfly attaches, and then the peg just goes in there. So you can all have it attached just to one peg here. It's got these cool little tie-out points here. A bit tangled there. There we go. So out like that, and the manufacturer is talking to me about what you do is basically you tether it into the wind. So if the wind's coming from this way, you'll peg it there just to give it a bit more stability on all these poles, or you'll peg it there if the wind's coming from that way. So that's a really cool little mechanism to give a heap extra strength to those poles if you're getting bent over in some crazy winds. So you can once again peg it here. I tend to be lazy and just peg both the inner and the outer onto the one peg there, but obviously for a slightly better pitch you can have separate pegs for those. Once again, you've got this thing that you can put into the wind depending on which way it's coming. So you can peg this down. There you go. So she is catching a bit of wind there on the side. This is what I love about this tent, is it's a one-person tent, but look at how much room you've got in there. I don't think there's many one-people tents that you'd be able to fit your whole pack, your shoes, everything in there. I mean, you could almost fit another bloody air pad if you're... The floor is not noisy. Well, a little bit noisy, but not as bad as some. It comes with an emergency repair sleeve, a little pole that's in there that I've removed because I'm a bit of a gram counter. Nice big pocket here. This is the little vent, so if it's bucketing down from inside, you can unzip it, open this up, and put that there. Get a nice little bit of ventilation coming into the tent, and then keep your creepy crawlies out. It has a nice bit of headroom here. I often find myself sitting on my air pad in my morning, still in my sleeping bag, having a little cook up. Just a great little tent. I did get this tent for free from Mont, but I reached out to them and said, hey, I love the look of this tent. Could I get one to review? And they said, yeah. So thank you very much to the crew at Mont. But I find myself reaching for this tent more and more, way more than I do my, you know, ultralight Z-Packs tent that I paid $1,000 for. So this tent isn't cheap. It costs almost 800 bucks, so 790 without a special. But I really think once you have a good look at it, the quality build of it, you'll realize why it costs that much. I don't think it's the manufacturer ripping you off, trying to make a quick buck. Every element of this tent has been well thought out. It's not a tent that they keep changing every year. It's just something that's been a staple of theirs. It is a one-person tent, but that said, it doesn't feel like a coffin. I'm going to bring you inside. For the gram weenies, you're not going to love this tent because it does weigh in at 1,325 grams, so 1.3 kilos. It's not crazy light, but when I look at the features of this tent, that's where I start to take this tent more and more than my crazy ultralight tents. The internal floor area is 2.3 meters, which is bonkers. It's 25% larger than the average one-person tent. In fact, some of the ultralight two-people tent that I'm reviewing are almost at this size. So they're really cutting weight on those two-people tent. This is a huge one-person tent. And they've done that through using this vestibule area to create that space. And this is 130 centimeters wide at this point. Obviously it narrows at both ends. It's nice and long too. It's 2.2 meters long, so you've got a bit of space at the end of the bed or the top of the bed for your stuff. The fly water head is 2,000 millimeters or 2 meters. I did a deep dive into hydrostatic head, and they recommend at least 1.5 meter hydrostatic head for hectic rain and wind. So really happy with 2,000. The floor, however, is 25,000 millimeter hydrostatic head, or 25 meter hydrostatic head is the floor, and that is just bonkers. I had of all the tents I'm looking at in this review, none of them have it at that level, and I think they've probably got a nice balance with the poles. Like at first I was complaining to them, oh, you should get, like, you know, ultralight carbon fiber poles, but now just seeing this thing sitting here in the wind compared to these other tents that I've reviewed today, it's really nice to not have it flapping around every minute, and it's absolutely fully seam sealed. You just buy it, chuck it out, you know, test it once and you're good to go. It's a nice bright color, so it is really good. Say you were lost, you'd be able to like put that out and sort of wave it and get the attention of search and rescue. It does come in a more like a camely brown color if you're into stealth camping. Yes, you're going to pay a bit more, but it's always nice to know that the people who are manufacturing these products for us that we use in the outdoors are treated well and paid a living wage. You can get a separate footprint with it, but once again, I don't really like footprints. It's perfect for me, but obviously it might not suit you. So obviously you need to look. It's not the cheapest tent on the market. It's also not the lightest tent on the market, but for me it strikes this perfect balance between weight, ease of pitch, so it's absolutely freestanding. So I just go to these crazy places in the middle of nowhere and I just pick it up, drag it around and find a plop and just pop it down. I don't have to worry about anything. You can save, you know, 300 to 400 grams with some different tents on the market. But I would argue for my style of hiking, where it's exploratory, I don't know what the campsite's going to be. I don't know how big an area I'm going to have to pitch in. So this is quite a small footprint, so it's nice and easy to pitch. I once went on a hike where I was absolutely buggered at the end of the day. The wind was whipping through and I had my ultralight trekking pole tent. And I remember just thinking, oh, I've got to pitch this tent. And yes, they're pretty easy to pitch on grassy plains like this, but under the wind conditions, it was a rocky platform. I had to find, you know, sort of rocks and sticks and makeshift tie-out points for this tent. And I just remember the wind coming through. It was so strong, and I just remember thinking, I wish I had a freestanding tent. I was exhausted. When I'm doing crazy exploratory stuff off track, there's enough of my brain that's consumed with navigation, route finding, and you know, getting my way through these environments, and that's why I choose to bring a tent like this. It's just an absolute no-brainer. It's so easy to pitch. I can put it anywhere. I know it's got my back. It's not going to snap in crazy winds. It's not going to flood if we're sitting in a swamp for 3 days. That little bit of extra, say 300 grams of weight, is absolutely worth that peace of mind to me at this stage in my hiking. I've done some longer ultralight sort of hiking, and I do love ground counting, and so perhaps it's not for me in those phases of my life. Cedar Summit have a range which is really popular at the moment, but for me, the hydrostatic head of the floor I think is only 1.2 meters, which I think is borderlining on not great. And I prefer a lot higher in my floors. I'd like a hydrostatic head of at least 3 meters in the floor of my tents. If you happen to pull up in a sort of a swampy area and you kneel on the tent floor, the pressure of that can start to very easily push through. And I just don't want that, that worry that, oh, it's too wet there, I can't put my tent. I just want to go plonk and sleep. I absolutely recommend this tent if you're looking for a one-person tent that's really robust. You can chuck up anywhere. It's freestanding, heaps of space. It's a little bit more on the pricey side and obviously a little bit on the heavy side, but I think at 1.3 kilos, it's pretty decent tent to have in your backpack.